One of the Phoenixes, Shayna, had gotten sick last night, so Lyla had taken her shift. And if today was like every other day, she knew sleep was far in her future. The whole camp had been unsettled by the Unwelcome's visit. The kids were safe, but the Unwelcome had taken half of their food provisions from the kitchen. Luckily, last year after the Unwelcome had first started visiting, they'd taken to hiding their food stores, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. The taking of the provisions bothered Lyla, but what really got to her was that she was pretty sure they didn't need them. The tax, as they called it, was a punishment for not providing any kids. In other camps, when kids had been found, nothing had been taken. We can make up the food loss. We can't make up the kids. Lyla hadn't even made it to her front door before she saw the first headache awaiting her. Frank stood unsmiling, one foot on the bottom of the porch as he spoke with a man. He was slim and muscular, but not Phoenix muscular, and from the hat he had crumpled in his hand at his side, she knew he worked the fields. As Lyla drew closer, she realized it was Sheldon. She paused mid-step, tempted to run and hide. She wasn't scared of Sheldon, but all the man seemed to be able to do was complain. He joined the camp 2 years ago along with his brother, and both of them seemed to get great joy in expressing how unfair everything was. But they were good workers, and the complaints never went beyond that, so they stayed. But Lyla really wasn't in the mood to deal with him right now. Last time he complained that Edna was intentionally giving him roles smaller than anyone else. It didn't help that when she'd mentioned it to Edna, she said she actually did do it once because he'd criticized her beef stew. Lyla slowed her steps, but Frank raised an eyebrow at her, and Lyla knew he knew what she was thinking, so she straightened her shoulders and continued forward.
Apparently not all of us have to.
Sheldon turned so abruptly Lyla had to step to the side or get run over. Crushing his hat back on his head, Sheldon gave her a hard look as he passed. Lyla watched Sheldon storm off before turning back to Frank. "I'm probably going to regret this, but what was that all about?" Frank sighed.
"There's been some grumbling about the Phoenixes not pulling their fair share."
Lyla gritted her teeth. Cal had started all of that ridiculousness 5 years ago in an attempt to take over the camp. He hadn't succeeded, and Lyla later killed him after he'd kidnapped a large group of children. But the rumors were never completely squashed. How can anyone say that? The Phoenixes spend every day training and on guard on top of regular daily chores. They do more than their share.
Well, some folks are taking issue with guard duty. According to them, standing around looking for non-existent threats is not taxing work.
Lyla opened her mouth to defend her Phoenixes and then shut it, trying to see the issue from the complainer's perspective. It was true. They hadn't had any threats to fight off in a long time. But that was in large part due to the reputation the Phoenixes had earned in defending the camp. Their past bloodshed had bought them peace, with the humans at least. Lyla sighed. "I can see that. We've been playing defense so long we haven't realized the landscape has changed." Frank's eyebrows rose.
"You don't think we should reduce the number of guards, do you?"
"No, of course not. But maybe we could open some of the positions up to more people. Maybe start with a guard tower or 2. Put people in place who are good with a bow and arrow as well as responsible."
"It's a good idea. How do you want to start?"
"Let's draw up a list of people who might be able to do the job. Then we'll have to figure out some sort of training. People always think they'll keep their heads in an emergency, but until that's tested, we can't be sure. We can't put someone up there who's going to freak out at their first sighting of an unwelcome ship or an unfamiliar face."
"So how exactly do we train for that?"
She grinned. "I have no idea. Let's just start with the list and we'll think on the process for a little bit."
"Sounds good to me."
They headed inside. She opened the door and pulled her scabbard over her head, laying it against the door.
"By the way, you look like hell,"
Frank said. A laugh broke from Lyla's lips as she headed into the dining room. "Please don't sugarcoat it."
"You work too hard. Someone else could have taken the shift."
Everyone had already been on double shifts.
Yeah, but they are off in between shifts. You take a shift and then take care of the camp all day.